welcome everyone. Welcome. My name is Latonya. If you've been here for the past two Villij Talks, I was hosting those two as well. I am the mental health and trauma specialist of the Villij. For those of you who may not have been here before, my background is in social work. I'm a master level social worker. And tonight we will be having this Villij talk on naturopathy and skincare. So for those of you who it may be your first time joining us, the Villij is a wellness organization for women of color to heal, expand, and connect. And we use these conversations in order to connect with each other. So tonight, our house rules, as they always are, this will be a 1 hour talk, and you can always use the chat box in order to interact with each other, to ask questions, or to even answer certain questions that we may have. We try to keep this as engaging as possible. In addition, we use some polls to gather information and just feedback from you guys because we do want to hear from you. In addition, at the end of our conversation, we're going to have a 5 to 10 minute Q&A session where we will allow our guest of honor to answer a few of our questions. So tonight, I am joined by Dr. Olivia Rose, who is a naturopathic doctor based in Toronto. So that is what we're doing tonight. So let's just get right into it. Olivia, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And to begin, could you just share a little bit about yourself and, what prompted you to become a naturopathic doctor?
Thank you, Tanya. And welcome everyone. Hi to everyone out there joining us. Thanks for having me. I became a naturopathic doctor because I guess I'll rewind a little bit. I wanted to actually become a medical doctor. And that's what I dreamt of and talked about all throughout elementary school, into my preteens, until I ended up with my own gastrointestinal issue and skin issues, eczema, the beginning of acne, sensitive skin. I ended up with hives after one Thanksgiving dinner and associated gastrointestinal issues, and went to a dermatologist who was a white male who really just kind of turned his nose up at me. He didn't really want to address um, the concerns that I had. He just basically looked down at his clipboard or whatever, his charting notes, and then just prescribed really quickly a corticosteroid to apply topically. And as a preteen, I still had some awareness, coming from a Caribbean background. We didn't go to the doctors for every single thing. There were herbs in the house. We used food, we used diet. My parents grew food in our backyard. So we didn't run to the doctor for things. And so I already started to formulate the link between, uh, you know, health issues and what you put into your body. So when I asked him, well, this all, came about after having this Thanksgiving meal. Could it be something that I ate that is now creating these hives and creating this gastrointestinal unrest, this diarrhea, and all this stuff going on? And he said, no, there's no link. There's no way. It's not possible. So I was like, this is ridiculous. And I think I was 12 or 13 at the time. And I said, I think I had to explore other options. Saw a naturopathic doctor, with just not sure what they did, but had great results. Changed my diet, took out certain foods that I was sensitive to, and skin cleared up, felt a whole lot better. And from there, decided that, hey, I think that's what I want to do. And I started pursuing that right from high school, in a time when people didn't really know what naturopathic medicine was. And so that's where it all started. And that brings me to where I am today, really. So I did that switch.
That's such an awesome story. That's really awesome. I think that kind of leads into my next question, which was, why was it important for you to develop an organic skincare line? So I had the opportunity to browse through your website a little bit, and it was so fascinating. And there as well, you were transparent, you shared your story. And if I remember correctly, during your teenage years, you began developing various organic skincare products. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I started to dabble in making my own in my late teens, like making my own soaps and toners and skin scrubs and creams, and then slowly but surely, everyone started to get these gifts for Christmas. So they all started to, you know, started to realize, oh, it's another one from Liv, like some cream, great, but look at me now.
Absolutely.
So
Look at you
right,
now.
so it's like I would write down these recipes and research ingredients whenever I can and dabble into things, slapping, aloe vera on my face, in university for things, and boiling up, culinary herbs, thyme and oregano, and putting that on my face to treat acne, breakouts, flare ups. So really, that's really that was always an interest of mine. And I realized that when I started to dabble in actually just trying natural and organic skincare lines, not many organic, but just more lines that are made from more natural ingredients out there, my skin responded better. It felt healthier. It felt like it was healing, not that I was having to have a dependency, a codependency on what I was putting on my skin. So I knew that it was a matter of when, not if.
Yeah.
And I just kind of put it on the back burner while I pursued becoming a naturopathic doctor until now.
Awesome. So could you explain, common skin irritants and hormone disruptors? You spoke a little bit about, your Thanksgiving meal and how that impacted your skin, but could we go a little bit deeper and just speak about those various irritants and hormone disruptors
Mm.
that can be found?
In like regular traditional skincare. So you're looking at the number one thing that for myself, that would irritate me, um, is the synthetic fragrances. So that's one thing. So with my skincare line, and with whenever I'm looking for skincare or body washes to use on my skin and on my son's skin, I look for the use of maybe essential oils. And so I use a lot of essential oils in my products, or scent free, because they have a lovely scent and they have medicinal qualities as well. And they're just much better overall for the environment and for yourself. So the synthetic fragrances, however, contain various synthetics. So phthalates is one, and phthalates are a type of, they're used in industry, they're plasticizers, they're in fragrances, and they have a hormone disrupting quality. And what does that mean? It means that a lot of them can act as xenoestrogens. So it means that it's a chemical that in structure is very similar to estrogen, and when it is absorbed into your body, or if you ingest any of these chemicals, they can bind on estrogen receptors and actually create the same downstream effects of our endogenous estrogens, and can have a more harmful effect, can bind tighter, stronger, and create, cause growths and things like that. So, and then become a challenge for our liver and our gastrointestinal tract to actually detoxify these chemicals from the body. So that's number one. There are others. There are parabens, mineral oils. A lot of these chemicals have cancer-like qualities, so they can stimulate our cells to start reproducing. And there's, animal and human studies out there that demonstrate these properties of a lot of these chemicals. So you really do you want to be careful with the traditional skincare out there, because if you are having skincare issues and you're going that route, it could actually create more harm than good, even if it's clearing up your skin. So you want to try to look for the natural whenever you can, and avoid these topical ingredients. So a good place to go would be the Environmental Working Group. They have like a dirty dozen of skincare that you want to avoid. So I mentioned a few of them.
Yeah.
PEG's another one. Propylene glycol, another one. Silicones, triclosan is another one. It's an antibacterial. We used to find it in soaps a lot. It's being phased out. I know the Canadian Medical Association, they're working towards creating a ban on this particular chemical because it's quite harmful to our environment and to us as well.
Okay, awesome. So at this time, and thank you for sharing all of those. I'm sure there's a very long, extensive list of things that we probably shouldn't be putting in our bodies, but are found very easily within, various supermarkets and grocery stores, not grocery stores,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
drugstores and so on.
Drugstores. Yeah, for sure.
At this time, I'm going to go ahead and ask a chat question for everyone. I'm just wondering, what factors affect your skin? I'm so interested to hear from you guys. I know for myself, dairy is one that affects my skin
Ah,
very
yeah.
easily. I have very sensitive skin, so
Okay.
I'm very, very cautious. I've been using the same product line since I was in high school. So, like over
Wow.
20 years now, I've been using the Body Shop aloe vera line. That's all I trust, that's all I use. But I am curious to hear from
Yeah.
everyone in the chat.
You.
What factors affect your skin? I'm trying to think of something else that affects my skin.
Stress. Someone
Oh,
says stress. Yeah, that's huge.
yes,
Dairy,
stress,
sugar.
dairy, lack of
Uh,
sleep,
yeah. Yeah.
sugars,
Not getting enough sleep.
dry air. Absolutely. I know for me,
Ah,
alcohol is one as well. I cannot put
yeah.
any alcohol products on my skin.
Right. And
Um,
what about the masks that we're having to wear, right?
oh,
That's a
oh,
huge one right
girl.
now.
Yes, it definitely breaks me out. Some types of makeup. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things that affect
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
skin. Um, can you tell us what internal factors, external factors affect our skin?
For sure. When it comes to internal factors, you mentioned one big one, and other people have as well. What I see in practice will be like dairy. Dairy's one huge one, especially if you are suffering from eczema, psoriasis, cystic acne, any kind of hormonal acne. The cow is a huge animal. And even if it's not raised with growth hormones as it is in some parts of the world, um, it still is contains growth hormone and estrogens that raise a big animal, bigger than a human. So if we take that into our body, you have to know that some of that's going to be absorbed. That's going to be absorbed, and it's going to affect your body and affect your skin. So create more growth. So like acne is like a growth, create to kind of disrupt your immune system in ways. And if you're not absorbing and digesting and absorbing dairy very well, like the nutrients from there, it can create issues like constipation. So that's another internal factor in that if you're constipated, and you're not moving stool every day, or maybe it's once a week or whatever it is, you have toxins that are sitting in your body and don't just sit there, they recirculate back into circulation. So you get double exposure, triple exposure to these toxins and chemicals that should be flushed out of our system. And where does it go? I mean, our liver tries to handle the burden of that, but it goes out onto the skin as well and irritates your follicles and can create things like, of course, the acne and issues. Just you can tell when someone is, I know dairy is an issue for me, and so you can tell if I've had dairy, too much of it, over time. It's like the skin just feels like heavy, you know
Mm,
and it's like a heaviness that, okay, I might be prone to getting something coming out here. So it's a big one. Another one that people don't recognize so much, but I see in practice, would be soy, especially in premenopausal women. Soy has estrogenic effects, and especially if it's not organic soy, organically raised, you're getting a soy that has been now sprayed with pesticides. And pesticides in themselves are xenoestrogen. estrogenic in nature as well, and create kind of wreak havoc on your hormonal system. But soy can also stimulate growth and irritate. If you already have like hormonal acne, so it worsens around the time of your cycle, you can make it worse by having soy in some cases. So if you are sensitive to soy, you want to avoid that. So those would be like the main internal factors. I mean, in general, just hormones. Like if your hormones are out of balance, if you're on the birth control pill, sometimes it can help. Sometimes it can really, aggravate your skin. So you want to look at that. And like just basically anything that you take in your body that you could you're an individual, so that you can be particularly sensitive to. So it's important to kind of, if you're not sure and you're getting reactions, to create like a skin journal, like a food
Mhm.
skin journal, where you write down all the food that you eat for a week or so, and you write down comments on how your skin is doing each day. So if you notice that you're having a flare up, make note of what you had within the 2 or 3 days of having this flare up, so you can maybe start to connect the dots there.
Absolutely. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you spoke about, toxins in our bodies, and you spoke a little bit about foods that we should avoid, such as the soy and the dairy. But what are the best foods for skin? And what
Mm.
are some ways that we can even help to detox, get rid
Okay.
of those toxins? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I love when it comes to best foods for skin. I mean, your skin contains and needs vitamins. So from your fruits and your vegetables, really important to make sure you're getting in foods that contain vitamin C and vitamin E. Um, Vitamin E, for example, you'll find in like nuts and seeds, hazelnuts, whole grains, very important. Vitamin C, you'll find in your kiwi and your citrus fruits, in your peppers, your squash, those colored fruits and vegetables, very important. So you want to make sure that you're eating a good amount of your fruits and vegetables. I often recommend bitter green vegetables as well, to help balance and alkalinize the body and give your body the fiber it needs to eliminate properly. So greens are very important, and the bitter the better, because bitter greens also stimulate, starting right at the mouth, your gastrointestinal tract to move. So you want to look at vegetables like watercress, dandelion, right? Dandelion root, dandelion leaves, add that to your salads, juice it, put it into soups, you know, what else? Arugula is a bit spicy, but has a bitter quality. Chard, kale, those types of vegetables are fantastic for skin. They're chock full of nutrients, and they help to keep things moving. Very important for skin to keep things moving.
So according to you, Dr. Olivia, we can cheat and we can juice the watercress and all of those greens that we may not necessarily enjoy, but that we know are very important for our bodies and to keep not only our skins, but especially our skins healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Did you say cheat?
Well, technically, a little cheating tool to put it in. I know sometimes it's very difficult for us.
Yeah, it's true.
Um,
It's
could
true.
you discuss, you mentioned, vitamin E, but could you discuss the importance of vitamins in skincare?
Hmm. Do you mind if I go back and just mention a couple more
Yes.
foods? Yeah, because I was thinking there's a couple more foods. So I emphasize the vegetables and the fruits, but protein's also important, right? So um, protein helps to form the collagen and elastin that helps to give our skin structure and moisture and plumpness, right? So as you get older, starting in your mid to late 20s, you start to lose collagen and elastin, and that can create more, sagging and, wrinkling of the skin. So protein's very important, especially for those who choose a plant-based diet, which is fantastically healthy, but you want to make sure that you have enough protein in that diet. So legumes are very important, and beans and things like that. So I want to mention that before you moved on. And then healthy fats. Healthy fats are important for balancing the skin as well. So you want to make sure that you're using extra virgin olive oil, you're using like on top of your salads and such, and not cooking with it. So you're not intaking like rancid oils. You're using avocados and nuts and seeds and stuff. So I want to just mention those.
No, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. We need all the advice we can get. So continuing to vitamins, can you share with us, the importance of using various vitamins for our skincare?
So a lot of vitamins and nutrients help with the structure and integrity of your skin. So I mentioned vitamin C. So vitamin C taken internally and applied topically can be helpful. So internally, vitamin C is an antioxidant. It helps to reduce free radical damage to your skin and to your bodies. So free radicals are basically these reactive oxygen species that can just spontaneously appear because of chemical reactions that occur on a daily basis in the body, just as our regular metabolism. And so the problem is that you want to keep it in balance. So you don't want too much of these reactive oxygen species forming and not enough antioxidants to quench those free radicals, because these free radicals go around and basically poke holes into your cells and create damage. So vitamin C is a wonderful vitamin for that. Vitamin E is the other one that I mentioned before. Vitamin E is very important for quenching free radicals and helping with the moisture and reducing premature aging and wrinkling of the skin as well, and protecting your skin, both of them, vitamin C and vitamin E, from UVA and UVB damage, so from the sun as well. So those two. The others would include vitamins that you're deficient in. So keeping your skin healthy, when I look at someone's skin, I see it as a barometer to their overall health. So when you are deficient in iron, deficient in B12, deficient in your vitamin D that we are supposed to be obtaining from the sun, it's going to affect your skin as well. So you're going to be just aging a lot quicker than you should when you're deficient in things. So you want to make sure that at your yearly checks with your doctor, whether you see a naturopathic doctor or a traditional, like a family doctor, medical doctor, that you get certain levels checked if you're at risk for being deficient. And vitamin D is one of those. It's really important for skin health. I want to mention there are a few conditions in particular that vitamin D is important for, including like eczema, psoriasis, as well, and dry skin. If you have like dry, cracked heels, for example, vitamin D deficiency is one vitamin you want to look into, because it is a sign. Dry, cracked heels are a sign of vitamin D deficiency.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Olivia. Just to backpedal a little bit, I see we have a question here from Ayana, who asked if you can go into more details about the various oils. I believe you mentioned rancid oils.
Oh, rancid. So
Rancid.
a rancid oil is like, when you have like I don't know, cereal or like a food stuff that you open the box and it smells like it's off, like the oil is off, like a dry cereal or something, or a whole grain, like that you can detect it by smell, or even just an old, like a natural skincare product. This would happen in like back in the day when I was making things and I'd have things sitting around, but I didn't use preservatives at the time. And so if you have any oils sitting around, they are also subjected, they're can also be subject to free radical damage. So this idea that when they're exposed to oxygen, that oil can start breaking down, and then it becomes a bad oil, a rancid oil that you don't want to ingest and you don't want to put onto your skin for sure. So that's what I mean by rancid oils. So oils that are sitting around, fried oils as well, like they're also prone to the same oxidation process, and not great for your skin.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that a little bit more. Okay, so briefly, could you tell us, how do you feel about products that are not natural? I think you kind of breezed over that a little bit, but what
Yeah.
is your overall opinion on that?
don't like them. And
Period.
it can be a period, full stop. It's like, you know, I have gone through like just over the years and have really paid attention to all of the products that I use in my household. So from laundry detergent to any kind of cleaning product, the whole thing is natural because it's the same thing. So you're inhaling these substances, you're using these substances on surfaces that you're going to touch. That's going to touch your body, whether it's also clothing as well, and you're using laundry detergent that contains some of these issues, these toxins. So I don't like products that aren't natural. And I think that, there's so much variety now of products out there that are natural that actually work really well. From skincare, like it's not only my skincare line, so it's like there's so many good products out there that actually work, that you have a lot of choices now. You don't have to use these conventional toxic products that contain things like parabens that wreak havoc on your body. So no, I don't like products that aren't natural, and I try my best to avoid them whenever possible.
Okay, perfect. So, great question. How can we ensure a product is really natural? And what key ingredients should we be looking for, or which key ingredients should we be looking to avoid altogether?
Okay. So definitely refer to that like top 12 list. So look for things like it's not only the words that you can't pronounce, because there are some natural like some words of like natural ingredients and organic ingredients that we have to use like their Latin names, so you can't pronounce it, but it's not bad. So
Right.
that's not gonna do it for you. You want to dive a little bit deeper and go into that dirty dozen and avoid things like the sulfates, avoid the mineral oils, avoid the parabens and the phthalates and the pegs as much as possible. So go into that, do a little bit of research and become educated there. And then what to look for would be plant-based ingredients. So what you will find is that you might have the Latin word, but then beside it, like I know with my labeling, in brackets, I will put the actual ingredient like the name that you understand. So castor oil, or whatever it would be. Um, Dandelion root or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
taraxacum is the name, that is the chemical name, but dandelion is the name of that you would understand. So you just want to make sure you're seeing a lot of plant-based ingredients. You're seeing natural oils like shea butter and cocoa butter that are healing and hydrating. You're seeing vitamins like vitamin E and vitamin C in there. Even on that note, I don't want to digress and go off too far, but ascorbic acid is vitamin C, and some people are sensitive to it. So even natural ingredients, you could be sensitive to. So even though it's natural, just make sure you test it on yourself and make sure that it works for you. So do like the jawline test or the inner arm test. So anyway, long story short, you want to make sure you're seeing a lot of plant-based ingredients and less of the chemicals that are on that dirty dozen list.
Awesome. I know myself and probably many others, we have a lot of research to do,
I know
just to
it's a
be a
lot.
little bit more. It is, but this is a great conversation to have. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll question, just to find out how well do we understand our skin.
Mm.
So I'm going to launch that poll, and I'm excited to see the answers that will come in from you guys. Okay, so far we have I understand it a bit. I don't know at all. Okay, perfect. So here we have our responses. We have, 15% who says, they understand very well their skin type. Some who says, I understand it a bit, and then others who may not know at all. Could you
Interesting.
briefly explain, Olivia, the 5 different skin types, or at least the most common, I would say?
Yeah, sure. So you have like normal skin. So basically not oily, not dry. By the end of the day, you're not seeing like, oily areas of the skin, or you're not seeing flaky skin. Basically the people who don't need my product or don't need my help. So,
Don't
and
say
we're going,
that.
it's okay. It's okay. People are like, yeah, so you have normal, which is great. But normal skin doesn't mean that you might have normal skin forever. Sometimes you may begin with normal skin and then it might shift as your hormones change and you get older and through environmental exposures and things like that, right? So you have that. Then you have like combination skin. So a lot of people identify in this area where it's like the T-zone area. I can see my T-zone like highlighted right now. Like this is oily about here and dry on the cheek area. So you got that. Then you have oily and dry. So oily is like, you just came out of the shower, you do your thing and you leave for the day and it's like 9 a.m. and your skin is oily.
Mhm.
So people who are kind of overproducing sebum, and there could be a lot of reasons for that. It could be because you're actually drying out your skin with the products you're using topically sometimes. And so when you're using too many products that are stripping the skin of its natural oils, your follicles will start to overproduce sebum and you end up with like an oily appearance. So sometimes oily skin is not even truly oily skin. You have dry skin, which is like you can see it's visibly dry. It's like patchy areas on the skin, flaky areas on the skin. This can happen. I see a lot in practice in older women, menopausal women, perimenopausal women, as the hormones shift, as estrogen starts to leave the body. You can see a lot more dry skin happening. So I see that quite a bit. You have sensitive skin. So sensitive skin is like people who like they'll eat something and it's like right away their skin like explodes.
That's
That's
me.
you.
That's me.
They'll get flushed or they'll start to feel the heaviness and they'll feel like next day there's a pimple. It's like, I had the one slice of pizza and now I got a pimple. And then also with sensitive skin, what else would I have to say about that? Oh, topical things. So you apply a product, like you've been using a product that a line that you liked for like all your life. So if you switch to something else and try it, like maybe you might like get irritated. So that can happen when people are switching product lines, even if it's natural, like I said, right? So you got to be careful there. And sometimes people have a combination of things. They have like, oily skin, but it's also sensitive. Or they have dry skin, that's also sensitive kind of thing. So those would be the basic skin types.
Could you highlight some tips, maybe just one or two tips to manage each skin type?
Okay, yeah. So with normal skin, if you want to keep it normal, you don't want to use, conventional products that are filled with like fillers and, fragrances and all of that, right? Like, doesn't mean that you shouldn't like wash your face. Like you get these people, it's like, my skin's normal, so I just use bar soap. And it's like, that can be clogging and eventually it can create can kind of disrupt your acid mantle of your skin. So you do
Mm,
have this acid mantle that's like a protection. And so if you start using like bar soaps and stuff like that, then you can end up with drying out your skin too much or creating clogged pores or things like that. So for normal skin, you just, you want to still take care of it, cleanse and kind of take your makeup off, because you'll get these normal people who's like, oh, I don't even wash my makeup off my face. It's like,
that's my
no,
mom.
wash
That
your
is
makeup.
my mom.
Because eventually your skin won't be normal anymore. You'll end up with like enlarged pores and stuff, like, because your skin's trying to breathe, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So take care of your normal skin, people. um Oily skin, with oily skin, it's like, don't use the harsh cleansers that are going to strip the skin, because you'll just keep producing more oil and just become more and more oily. So with oily skin, don't be afraid of the oil. So actually look for products that contain some oil. Don't be afraid. Walk towards the oil, because like heals like. So if you have an oil that you can include in your skin that goes with your skin. Some of them might be jojoba oil, rosehip oil. Vitamin E is like in an oily kind of base, and it can actually kind of temper and calm the overproduction of the sebum. So also creams, like I like to use a lot of pumpkin seed oils and butters and cocoa butters and shea butters, and that, you know, some people with oily skin would be like, I don't want to use that stuff, but it actually is very soothing and calming, and it typically won't make you overproduce sebum. So that's good. For T, like the T zone, the combination people, you want to, it's kind of, you know, sometimes you're using something here and something there, like if your skin's dry here. One thing that I like overall for people with combination skin is a really good serum. So a vitamin C serum, a hyaluronic acid serum, some type of serum that is like water based, that can just kind of go in and you can use it everywhere, and it's very balancing to the skin. So I like that. Same thing, you might have to use different like a different product on the different areas, but you know, you can like be the judge of that. But serums work usually really well with people who have the combination skin. With the sensitive skin, like less is more. So, you know, like yourself, like you stick to one product line and it's the product line that you use. So minimal ingredients, really. Like you don't want to be using a whole lot of stuff when you have sensitive skin and trying a whole bunch of things and being all over the place, because your skin will just not know how to react, and that might create more problems for yourself. So with sensitive skin, just find a product line or a product, a simple cleanser, a simple moisturizer, serum, and like you're good. And make sure you're wearing sunscreen, because with sensitive skin people, they can often be affected by the sun more. So more hyperpigmentation, more irritation. So get some sun, because vitamin D is good, but make sure that you wear sunscreen as well to protect your skin from the harmful effects. Did I miss one? Dry skin? Did I
Yes,
talk about
I
dry
don't
skin?
think so.
So dry skin, so dry skin is, yeah, you really want to nourish your skin. So get in there, use the oils, use the moisturizers that contain really nice butters, and layering is the key for dry skin. So you might, you know, wash, but you might not use like a really heavy, thick, creamy cleanser. It might just be like a really gentle gel cleanser, so you're not stripping the skin. And then you want to throw on your serum, throw on another serum, throw on some cream, moisturizer. Always wear a really nice heavy night cream when you have dry skin, because that's when your body and your skin is like turning over, rejuvenating, and doing its thing and detoxifying. So you want to give it the nutrients and the nourishment it needs to do that properly.
Awesome. So we have Chanel in the Village chat, and the question asked is, how do you feel about anti-aging products, and when should we begin to use those?
Mm-hmm. Now, like
Now.
yesterday.
Okay.
I love, like, I don't like, first of all, I don't like the word anti-aging, because aging to me is a natural process. I like graceful aging. So aging gracefully is really what it's about. Right. So I like to kind of shift the terminology a little bit and have fun with that, because it just changes your outlook on it. Right. So
Absolutely.
we want to gracefully age, and that can start as soon as, I don't know, as soon as you're able to put your own lotion and creams on your own face, you know? So at any point you can just start incorporating serums, incorporating creams. So like so what I meant by my comment prior to that was just, you know, in elementary school and in high school, like when you start to actually take care of your skin, that's graceful aging steps that you're taking. You're washing your makeup off. You're choosing makeup that's not going to clog your pores. Like these are steps to age gracefully. When you're choosing serums to help hydrate the areas around the eyes, you know, because you can tend to, that could be the first areas that you'll start to see a little bit of wrinkling around the mouth area. Don't forget the lips, right? Like don't forget the lips. So I love to create products that can be used everywhere, like on your
Mm,
from your chest to your neck to your lips to your eyes, like everywhere. So yeah, so I think it's never too early. You can start as soon as as you like, and just start with like layering on some beautiful serums and creams, and making sure you're getting out there and doing facials or doing at-home self-care facials as well, using minimal ingredients, right? Yeah.
awesome. Thank you, Dr. Olivia. So, as a community of women of color, should we be colorblind when it comes to skincare needs? What is your opinion
No,
on that? No?
no, no, definitely not. Everyone needs to learn about their skin, and know what kind of skin they have. And, we can't take the fact that there's melanin in our skin for granted and think that, oh, because we have melanin and because, I tend to, this whole idea of black don't crack, or, Asians, always look like they're so young, and this kind of thing. We want to make sure that we take care of our skin and that we choose products wisely. And we also want to keep in mind some of the health issues that affect people of color, and women of color. So I think of things like fibroids. See it in a lot of women of color in my practice, from Black women to Asian women, um, from Southeast Asia, like all over the place. So, fibroids, for example, they grow. They're benign tumors that are affected by our hormones, and so that's why I think it's even particularly important to not be colorblind, but to understand your risk factors, understand your family health. As well, his health history, and to choose your products wisely, and to seek organic products and to seek natural products that don't contain a lot of chemicals or xenoestrogens. There's that word again, because you don't want to have those chemicals, absorbing in through the largest organ in your skin and affecting, and putting you at risk for hormonal growths in your body, for example. So it's really important to also be mindful of not just that, like the internal aspect, but to know that there are certain conditions that are going to affect us more, like the hyperpigmentation that can happen, right? So hyperpigmentation after scarring, so after acne, scarring issues, things like that, and to choose products that can help with that as well.
Could you, since you touched on hyperpigmentation, could you explain how that functions and some tips to help
Hmm.
reduce it?
Yeah, so it's a reactive process. So we are already starting with a lot of melanin in the skin. So the more melanin you have in the skin, the more likely you are to have this type of hyperpigmentation reaction that can happen after you've had like a scar, like a cut or acne, um, that kind of thing. So basically, you're going to want to choose products that can help facilitate the breakdown and like the removal of this excess layer in that area of skin that's creating that darkening effect. And so I choose things like chemical exfoliation. So I say chemical, but more like enzyme exfoliation type products. So products that contain things like honey, enzymes like papaya, pumpkin, pineapple. These are wonderful products that help to gently peel the superficial layer of the skin and help with that exfoliation process, which will then allow you to reduce that discoloration or hyperpigmentation. I also like the mechanical exfoliation, and that's the use of tools like microdermabrasion if you go to get like a facial, but also you can use skin scrubs that I have one that I've made, but there's just anything that's can can work as like a granular to mechanically exfoliate the area to help lift off some of those dead skin cells and some of that darkened area as well. And that allows the skin to eventually kind of rejuvenate, and increase the turnover, so it's a little bit faster, and then it kind of speeds up the healing process there.
Awesome. I love that. I think we probably all have honey in our
Honey's
kitchen.
fantastic for that.
So, yeah, awesome. Thank you. So, I have another question for the chat. What is your skincare routine? If a few people would like to just share what they do as far as skincare routine, that would be great. I know for myself, I mentioned I have sensitive skin, so I don't do that much, which may not be the best. And I'll ask you, Dr. Olivia, on your opinion. But for me, really, I just use like a foaming cleanser. I use a toner. And then something I've been starting to do most recently, I've kind of stopped using like lotions and creams. And instead, when my face is still like damp, I just put like vitamin E, no, almond oil on my
Wonderful.
skin. And that's what I kind of try to do to like seal in the moisture from the water.
Love
Does that
that.
make sense? Okay, good.
Yeah, I love that. You know, the more minimal you can do, the better.
Yeah.
I'm quite complicated. So like I need the whole thing. Like and I'm like on this whole anti-aging tip. So I cleanse with a gentle cleanser. I'm loving the thyme. I've been dabbling in thyme for a while, whether it's the essential oil. And I make sure I do like a mask every week. Especially right now with having to wear a mask every day for a length of time. I love my serums to just, you know, hydrate things. Toners I like. I'm not like I have to have a toner, but I find under the mask, like it just gets tight and dry. So
Mm,
I find myself spraying that toner before I put on that mask, just to kind of add a little bit of antibacterial effect, but also like a bit of moisture because of that
right.
tightness that can happen. And now that it's winter, I love a nice cream under the
Mm,
eyes and all over to really help lock in that moisture. Yeah.
awesome. I see some comments here. KM
Oh
says
yeah.
they're coming in very
Double
clearly.
cleanse.
She washes her face with a liquid tea tree soap,
Yeah. Tea tree's
witch
good.
hazel or rose water. I've heard a lot about that,
Oh,
but I've been
rose
so
water.
scared
Love it.
to try.
Hmm.
And sometimes aloe vera on my face. Love it. I love aloe vera.
Yeah.
Um, Kim says she has an entire routine for day and for night. It includes a cream cleanser, serums, oils, sunscreen. Oh my goodness, sunscreen is so
Yeah.
important.
Sunscreen. So important. Yeah. Really important.
Chanel said she used a lot of hydrating masks, serums, creams because her skin is very, very, very dry. Okay,
Mm,
awesome.
very
And
good.
then we have some more double cleanse, hydrating toner, exfoliation toner, hydrating serum, moisturizer.
Oh, I love
Awesome,
it.
awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. Lucy
Good.
asked, what are some good toners you would recommend?
Hmm. Well, some of them were mentioned, like just single ingredients sometimes are great, you know? So like witch hazel, what else do I like? Like I love the rose water. And I like, you know, like how I came to make toners and dabble in that is like just using some essential oils, a couple drops here or there. I like boiling up herbs. Like thyme is one of my favorite ingredients. So boiling thyme and using that, especially if you're more acne prone, like using a cotton swab and like dabbing that as your toner, just as basic as that. It doesn't have to be fancy. So love that. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of just natural ingredients out there that you can choose, like water-based ingredients. I like honey as a toner, just honey and water. If you once honey, people think honey is like, oh, it's going to be sticky and all that, but once honey hits water, it forms hydrogen peroxide, and that's one of the reasons why it's great for lightening any kind of discoloration and hyperpigmentation, and actually is a wonderful toner. toner for the skin too, but you don't need too much. So you want to dissolve it, and then you can use a cotton swab and just like, kind of put it on the areas that you want to target. So yeah.
Awesome. So, Dr. Olivia, which core skincare products should everyone have in their skincare routine?
A really good cleanser. So whether you're going to do like an oil cleanse, so some people do oil cleanse, and I did that for years as well. So it can be just a mixture of your favorite oils, like a castor oil with a jojoba oil or an almond oil. Um, you know, um, Using that on your skin, and then washing, like massaging it in, and washing off with a cloth and some water, following it up with a toner kind of thing, and go on from there. Or just a regular oil-based or foaming cleanser. So you want to make sure you cleanse. Like your face is like, it goes into the world and it goes into our environment, and it's sealed behind a mask half the time now. So you really want to make sure that you are using a good cleanser to get off all the debris, all the dirt, and have a nice clean palette. From there, you want to do a serum. I love a serum because it is water-based. There's other serums that aren't water-based, but I like water-based serums that soak right into the skin. They're thin, and they kind of settle right in. That's where they're more like medicine. So that's, they get right in there and they start to do their work, whether it's like a vitamin C serum or hyaluronic acid. It's adding moisture, it's rejuvenating the skin, it's reducing hyperpigmentation. So I love that. And then you want to do a really good cream or oil, whatever it is, to help seal that all in. So those are the things that I think that everyone should have: like a cleanser, cleanse really well. You want to have a really good serum, and you want to have some kind of moisturizer.
Awesome. And our last question before we go into our question and answer portion, could you recommend some of your favorite skincare products?
Like brands?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Your own.
My own brand.
Shameless plug, it's okay.
Shameless plug. No, yeah, I mean, I developed my line for a reason, and I carefully picked those ingredients. So yeah, I love that. But before I had my own brand, Britt suggests ReLiv Organics. That's my niece. She better suggest ReLiv Organics. I love just a couple of lines out there. Let me think. Oh, Andalou Naturals. This is like, I love this. I love this. So Andalou Naturals is a fantastic line. They use stem cells. They use organic ingredients, natural ingredients. They're from the US, I believe. That's where they're located. But they have wonderful masks. One mask that I just cannot live without until I maybe make my own, something similar, is like their pumpkin glycolic mask. Love it. Um, that's a wonderful mask to just help like with that gentle exfoliation that I talked about. From my own line, I really like my Thyme blemish control line. So I have a wonderful mask that is based off of French green clay, but also has some wonderful moisture type ingredients in there, like shea butter. So it's wonderful for like just making your skin like feel really nice and tight, but not dry, and just kind of drawing out all the toxins out of your pores. I like my Thyme blemish control gel because it's a gentle gel. It also contains white willow bark, and a natural salicylic acid, so derived from white willow bark. So you have salicylic acid, which is a wonderful key ingredient to help with acne, but I derived it from white willow bark instead of having it synthetically made in a lab. So love that. Those are my favorites right now. I like tremolo mushroom. I like serums that are like vitamin C based. So I have a vitamin C serum that's made from Kakadu plum from Australia. and it's a wonderful moisturizing a cleanser, serum, sorry, that just it smells like berries, and it's just, you know,
Ooh.
orange essential oil and lavender. But some reason, because of the mixture of the Kakadu plum, it smells like just berries. Like people, I had someone tell me the other day, I wonder if she's there. I'm probably not watching this, but she reached over to her side table to grab her vitamin D drops that I had recommended for her, and she picked up the serum and she dropped it in her mouth, and she sent me a feverish message saying like, is it okay that I just like had some of the like ate some of the vitamin C serum? I said it's organic, it's not suggested, but
Yeah.
you can. So anyway, so yeah, so I like the Andalou line. I like the ReLiv line. And I like just natural single ingredients. Like before ReLiv Organics, I really didn't use a lot of other, Smith's. I like Smith's as well. That's a wonderful local to Canada brand. I think they're out of Quebec. And they have some wonderful, wonderful products as well. A wonderful cream and wonderful toner that I used to use a lot. So but yeah, I love the single ingredients like aloe vera, witch hazel. Like I used to use a lot of that before I started combining them together to make products.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love that. Britt says ReLiv, which for those of you who may not know, ReLiv Organics, that is Dr. Olivia's skincare line. And Britt says here, it has a really nice seaweed toner. So good to know. Thank you.
Yeah,
All
that's a
right.
good
So
toner.
now we are going to open up for questions from you guys. Dr. Olivia will answer. I know we already have a few in the chat.
Awesome.
Yes, so you spoke of honey earlier. Was that
Yes.
raw honey or manuka honey or?
Oh, good question. You know what? All the honeys are great. I love Manuka honey because Manuka honey has the same quality that, you know, has lots of nutrients in there. It's a honey that's derived from New Zealand, like it's mainly based out of there, or found there from the Manuka bush, which is in New Zealand. But the idea is that it has powerful antimicrobial effects. Honey by itself is antimicrobial, but Manuka honey has been tested in labs to show that it's very, very, very strong and wonderful for antibacterial properties. So it's great for acne, for example. But it just depends. Like I just don't like the way that Manuka honey feels on my skin on its own. So I like a good raw honey. So I tend to use raw honey a lot. So basically, there was a time where I just washed my skin with honey. So I would just take, like in the morning, I would just take a tablespoon, mix it with a little bit of water, rub it in, and then just use a cloth and wash it off. And it'd be wonderful for just like helping to, and sometimes you can just leave it on actually. You can leave it on for a few minutes if you have some time. But it's wonderful for minimizing the appearance of pores, reducing fine lines, really hydrating because honey is a humectant. So any kind of honey, but just kind of choose what works for you. I don't love Manuka honey all the time, but I sometimes mix it, or this depends on how I feel. I don't know how the skin feels. It just has a different texture. That's all. More creamy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Amanda asks, are there homemade or do-it-yourself exfoliators that you would recommend?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know some people do like baking soda as an exfoliator.
Yeah, well, baking soda, the problem with it, I dabbled in that too, as a DIY when I was, you know, doing my own like creations in the washroom in the kitchen. But it's basic, so it's alkaline, and that can kind of, for some people it might work well. For others, it might disrupt that acid mantle, and so it can leave you feeling a bit more dry, irritated, and then you can break out. So, you can grind up like things like almonds, flax, add a little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of honey to that, aloe vera. Like these are kind of ingredients, you know, get the gist. Like you can just like, you know, look for that texture that's not rough. But and it's very, very fine. Like use any product or anything you can find at home that's like a fine granular substance, and you can mix it with something cream based and use that to exfoliate. That's a mechanical exfoliator. A more chemical or enzyme exfoliator is like literally you can take some lemon or lime juice and water or aloe vera and mix that up, just like a tablespoon to like, you know, 8 ounces or more. And then you can use that to gently exfoliate the skin as well. So, and that will work with the alpha hydroxy acids and like help to, you know, just like help to exfoliate, like increase that skin cell turnover and get rid of those dead skin cells. So yeah, love lemon and lime for an exfoliation as well.
Awesome. We have another question. I buy a lot of skincare from Sephora. Is their clean at Sephora stamp actually clean? Do you know if they're clean at Sephora?
What I don't know. I haven't actually looked into their what that means. I know that the environmental working group has produced a very rigorous list of environmental working group approved products. So I go to them for like when I want to look for sunscreen that's good and doesn't contain toxic compounds and things like that. So I haven't looked at Sephora's list. I'm assuming it would be based on something similar. Maybe it's wrong to assume, but I'm not sure what they're including and what they're not including on that list. Sorry.
Okay, awesome. And it looks like our last question for tonight. It says, I personally have scalp issues that no doctors have been able to help me with over several years. Would you be able to help with scalp and hair?
Yeah, I do. I do a lot of work in practice with people who have issues with scalp. So flakiness of the scalp, like an overproduction of like skin in the scalp. Uh, Sometimes due to hormonal changes, and sometimes it's associated with food intolerances or sensitivities. And so for some people it can lead to like an excess like growth of skin on the scalp or dirt buildup, that kind of thing. That can be that's difficult to get rid of. So the scalp is just an extension of your face, right? So it's important to make sure that you maintain a really good acid mantle, and that you help to support your scalp is very similar to your skin. So yeah, so I would say, yeah, if you want to reach out, I'd be happy to help. You want to look internally, and then you want to look at what you're using topically as well on your scalp.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we made it to our hour. So thank
Wow.
you so much, Dr. Olivia. This was a great conversation. I know it's a lot of information, but we covered a lot of ground. So thank you so much. And thank you all for joining us tonight. Before I let you go, I just want to let you guys know where you can find Dr. Olivia Rose. So she can be found on various platforms, Instagram being one, and we will put her Instagram here in the chat. Could you also let us know what it is, Dr. Olivia?
My
Instagram?
My Instagram, there's at Olivia Rose ND. There's ReLiv Organics with no E, so RELIV Organics. And then for the clinic, it's Rose Health Clinic, all one word as well. So you can find me on any of those platforms. I'd be happy to chat with you further about it.
So yes, her website is rosehealthclinic.com. And of course, you have your skincare line, ReLiVOrganics.com. So also, you guys, what is wonderful is Dr. Olivia is going to be offering a 20% discount for you guys for attending this talk. And if you would like to receive that discount, you'll just need to enter the code Villij20, and you'll have 20% off the entire site until Friday. So this Friday at 11:59 p.m. So do not miss out. She named a bunch of wonderful products. Britt sweared by it as well. I'm excited for it. So yeah, thank you all for joining us.
Thanks for having me to be a part of this wonderful conversation. I think it's so important to talk about our health and to have fun doing it. So yeah, all the best to everyone. Stay safe, and thanks again.
Awesome. And hey, you guys, we have our last Villij Talk for this season that will be in the next 2 weeks on November 26th at 6 p.m. We will be discussing workplace well-being with a registered psychotherapist, Abney Jane. So see our calendar, register for that event. And if you're looking to see any of our past podcast episodes, you can go to our YouTube channel, which we'll also place in the chat box. So if you found tonight valuable, we encourage you to donate and support the Villij Fund to help us continue these experiences and keep the conversations going. And again, Friday, 11:59 p.m., check out ReLiv Organics. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night.